Hi guys, welcome to one more video and thank you so much for watching. Today's video is going to be totally different than anything I have already made, because today we are not going to be talking about languages, we are not going to be talking about some social issues and topics. Today we are going to be talking about sweets, precisely sweets from the Balkans. I have to admit that I got inspired for doing this video from other YouTubers and bloggers that I found on YouTube, and I have noticed that those whose blogs are dedicated to different cultures, countries and languages usually make one video where they present food from their home country or their region to the rest of the world. So I thought most of my subscribers are not from the Balkans. There are some, but most of them are not. So I thought you guys might be interested to see what kind of sweets, precisely candies, are we eating in the Balkans. Before I start with the video, I have to tell you that among all these sweets I have right here next to me, none of them is actually made in my country. First I thought of making just video about sweets from my country, but then when I remembered how bad our industry is, we don't actually produce almost anything. So if I made a video dedicated to Bosnian sweets, it would last 30 seconds. So I decided to buy some sweets that everyone in the Balkans knows, that many generations grew up with, and most of them are produced in Serbia and Croatia, but you can find them anywhere in the Balkans, in any store, in any supermarket. And I want to show them to you, to explain a little bit about their history, and that's it. I have seen these videos on YouTube and I really love them because I love food, sweets especially, and I find it really interesting to when getting to know about certain country, it's interesting to get to know a little bit more about their food. So if you love sweets, I think that you will love this video. If you don't, doesn't matter, watch it anyway. Let's start. So the first product that I want to start with is my favorite thing among all these candies and sweets, and it is made in Croatia. The name is Bayadera, and it's produced by the company called Crush. It's based in Zagreb and it's a very old company. I think they were founded like 100 years ago. If you have been to Croatia, you have probably seen this in every single supermarket, even in the smallest store you can find it, and it is considered as one of the symbols of Croatia. So usually people from Croatia, when they want to buy a present for someone from abroad, they're usually buying this. And you can see how it looks like. This thing on top is chocolate. The thing inside is hazelnut and almond filling, I think so. It is really tasty, it's not too sweet, and something that I learned only recently is that it's vegan. It does not contain eggs or milk, which I'm only vegetarian, so for me it's not a problem if it had milk and eggs inside, but every time I can buy something without those two things, I'm happy. It is really, really good. If you ever have opportunity to come to the Balkans, you will find it. It's sold everywhere in every country. I have even seen it in other European countries, like in Western Europe, so I would definitely recommend you this. It is amazing. Second thing that I want to show you is something that everyone from the Balkans aged 7 to 77 is emotionally connected to, and it is called plasma. It's just simple biscuit. It's nothing fancy, no fancy ingredients. It's just simple biscuit. Usually some people would consider it as biscuit for kids, but all people of all ages eat this. And this one has pretty interesting history. According to what I read online, this is made in Serbia. It's produced in Serbia by a company called Bambi. And according to internet, this was actually stolen. The idea for this biscuit was stolen from some Italian company by a Serbian guy who took his idea, came back to Serbia and decided to make these biscuits. And then when Italians got to know what are they doing in Serbia and that they stole their recipe, they decided to sue them, and in the end, I don't know who exactly won, but Serbians were allowed to keep producing these plasma biscuits, but they were not allowed to sell it anywhere in Western Europe and the US. Which they actually said, okay, we are not going to do that, but they came up with a very interesting idea, and they decided to sell these biscuits abroad in Western Europe and probably the US, although I haven't seen it there, but they just changed the name. I'm gonna put the picture here how it looks in other countries. The package is almost the same, the biscuit is same, it tastes exactly the same because the recipe is they didn't change it, it just has different name. And I know that when I was in Austria and Germany, I think in Switzerland as well, they have big population of immigrants coming from the Balkans. So in many supermarkets, they have whole shelves dedicated to Balkans and they sell these biscuits. This is something that here it's considered mostly like biscuit for kids. So generations of like my parents' generation, my generation, and today's kids grew up eating this actually. And a lot of people like to put this in milk and then eat it like cereal, which I find it kind of disgusting, but many people love it. And another thing, plasma is kind of known as something that you buy when you go on a trip. So whether you travel by bus or train or plane or car or whatever, everyone is buying plasma when they travel, which is weird because I don't know, but I do it as well. Every time I travel somewhere, I just go to the store and buy this. I don't know why, and it is tasty. It has pretty mild taste. It's good. I would rate this as really good. Our next thing is going to be one of the most famous chocolates in the Balkans. If you have been to the Balkans, you have seen it. The name is Najlepše želje, which means the best wishes. And this chocolate is produced in Serbia by a company called Stark. Again, it's a very old company. I think they were also founded like 100 years ago. And it's just simple chocolate. This one is milk chocolate, and they have all kinds of taste, dark chocolate, chocolate with biscuits, almonds, all kind of them. It is okay. It's not the best chocolate in the world, honestly. It's not bad either. I would say it's just average. But one funny thing that I have noticed is that this is a very old company. So these chocolates have been sold for like 40-50 years already. And many generations have grown up eating those chocolates as kids. And almost everyone I met is saying that this chocolate used to be amazing when they were kids, but now it's bad. So if you meet someone who is 50 years old, let's say my parents' generation, they would say it was so tasty when we were kids, but now it's bad. And then I'm 28. When I was a kid, it was tasting good, and now it's not that good. I don't know if they actually changed the recipe and they are trying to save money, so it's worse now. Or my idea is that the recipe was probably always the same and it was always equally good or bad. The difference is when you are a child, you would eat anything that contains sugar. At least I was like that. I would eat anything that has sugar. I didn't know anything about good chocolates, bad chocolates, tasty stuff, not so tasty stuff. I was eating everything. And now then when you grow up and when you kind of develop better taste, you actually realize that many of the things that you used to eat as a kid are not that good actually. So that's my idea what's going on with this. It's not worse than 20 years ago or 40 years ago. It's just we have grown up and we have a little bit better taste when it comes to sweets. Our next thing, or the next thing I want to show you, are these hard-filled candies. The name is Negro, and I know that the name is not politically correct nowadays and that it might offend many people. And I was trying to find out who actually chose this name, and I couldn't find anything that sounded reliable or any source that actually knew why are they named the way they are. And the only thing that I have found is that they are very old, also almost 100 years old. And the company that's producing this was founded in northern Serbia, city Subotica. It's very near Hungary, and the founder was actually Serbian-Hungarian, or Hungarian who used to spend some time in Serbia back then. So apparently someone from that company gave this name, and the way they sell these is, you see this guy, the chimney guy. These hard-filled candies are supposed to be like very refreshing, and once you eat them, they kind of clean your throat and so on. That's why they choose this chimney guy to be the symbol, because he's supposed to clean your throat. I don't know if that makes sense, but to whoever made this, it does make sense. So I think that the name came from the color of these candies, which is black. I can show you. I don't think that it was supposed to actually offend anyone, because why would they do that? And I know the name sounds bad nowadays, but the name was given like almost 100 years ago to this, so I don't think they actually wanted to offend any race. The name is weird nowadays, but these are still the most popular hard-filled candies in the Balkans. They're, as I said, they are produced in Serbia, and I remember when I was a kid, I really liked them. I liked that taste. They have very specific taste, and they just look fancy for some reason. They used to look fancy to me back when I was a child. Now, this is the first time in years that I have bought this, and I really bought it just for this video to show them to you, because otherwise I really wouldn't eat them, but they are very good. So if you are into heart-filled candies, you can try these when you come to Balkan. The next thing I want to show you is something that I don't really find that tasty. It's called Aurocrem block. I used to find this really tasty when I was a kid, but then, as I told you like previously, some of the things that I loved when I was a kid, I really don't love now. Aurocrem is something like Balkan's Nutella. It's a spread with chocolate and hazelnuts that you put on bread, and this company decided to make like this little chocolate out of that cream or that spread. It is not really good, to be honest. I know that there are many people who love it, but I find it too sweet, too sugary, too just... But it's super cheap, so I guess that's the reason why many people like it. Anyway, I really loved this when I was a child. I could eat like tons of these. And I remember when I was going to school, I used to buy these small candies when I was going back home, and I was really enjoying it. But now this is also one of the things that I bought just for this video, and I don't know if I'm gonna eat it. Probably not. By the way, it's also made in Serbia. It's not good at all. And now, to conclude this video, I want to show you last thing, which is also very tasty. I still love this one. I used to love it as a kid. I love it today. We call it Yaffa keks. It is biscuit with fruit jelly covered with chocolate. You see how it looks? It looks pretty. It tastes amazing. I know many people from abroad who are not from the Balkans who love this. Like, the idea itself is not that revolutionary. It's not something special. I think you probably have this. You can find something like this in many countries. I have actually seen that few companies like Milka chocolate they make similar biscuits like this, but they are not equally as good as this one. This one is made in Serbia as well. It is really tasty. So if you come to the Balkans, try this one. And I know you probably have something like this in your country as well, or in other countries, but this one is the best biscuit of this kind. I can guarantee you that. And this is also one of the things that I think that I'm gonna love it till the end of my life. It's really tasty. So guys, that was it for today's video. I have shown you 6 different sweets that we eat here in the Balkans and that you can find in every single supermarket in the Balkans. As I said, none of these things is produced in my country. They are produced either in Serbia or Bosnia, which are my neighbor countries. But you can find them everywhere here, and many generations of people in the Balkans actually grew up eating this. My parents' generation, me, many more generations to come are probably going to eat this. Some of these things are tasty, some are not. I would recommend you to come to the Balkans and try each one of them. One thing that I would like to say is that I loved every kind of sweets when I was a child. I would eat sweets all the day if I was allowed to by my parents, but I really liked this stuff bought in store. And now when I'm grown up and I finally learned how to bake, I prefer things that I'm making because they are fresh, they taste better, they are healthier because I know what am I putting in there. But I still don't have anything against like candies bought in store, because I know that many people today are into healthy lifestyle, but I mean, we are gonna die anyway, so sugar, no sugar, it doesn't really matter. Another thing is these sweets, you probably have something similar or almost the same in your country, because they're not exotic, they don't contain any special fruit or any special ingredients that you haven't seen before. It's just chocolate, hazelnut, almonds, just normal stuff. We don't have anything exotic that you haven't seen before, and these are sweets that you can find everywhere, but still it's kind of, I assume it's kind of interesting to see what people from different parts of the world are eating. So this was a little bit different video than everything else and than anything else I have made. But as I told you in the beginning, I got inspired by some YouTubers and bloggers I like that were showing stuff from their country. So I thought maybe you would like to see what do we eat in the Balkans. If you like this video, please leave me a comment or a like or subscribe to my channel, and see you in my next video.